Okay, this is a meeting of the Capital Improvement Committee from March 13th, 2023 at 6:05 p.m. First order of business is approval of minutes. So we have the minutes from 12/12/22, 1/9/23, 2/6/23. It's right over there, and then 3/6/23. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Heel.
Second.
Second by Corinne. And then all those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Rio. By the way, in attendance, Frank Malisi.
Ed Heel.
Corrine Cafado.
Corrine Cafado. Okay, great. So that is good. Moving on. CIC discussion about changes to the meeting articles. So last meeting that we had at the department head meeting, we voted on a priority matrix that we would submit for town meeting. Let me just get this right here. So on the last page, so after the discussion that we had with the highway department, Jameson, he went back to the town accountant and decided to resubmit his capital matrix with different items. He originally had the I think it was $295,000 for the sander, and then $140,000 for dump truck unit 6, and then the $38,000 for the radio. He wanted all of those approved for this town meeting. He went back to Eric, the town accountant, and he changed his ask for this year to be the dump truck unit number 6 with the sander for $140,000, and then the unit C1 2500 HD pickup truck for $75,000 instead of the sander for $200,000.
Were these already on the matrix just for a different year?
Unit C1 was not on the matrix for a different year. No,
okay. I
don't see it on here. We'd have to add it in here. Okay. So his total ask is $215,000 for this year's free cash town matrix. Mm-hmm. That still leaves the police, the fire department's looking for $95,000 for protective fire clothing. Let me see.
So that brings you to 310?
That brings me to, yes, 310. And we have a $350,000 budget.
We only have 40,000 left.
What's that?
We
have
only have
40,000 left. Well, there's an exception to that, but yes, we only have $40,000 left right now in the town operating budget. I'm trying to look for that.
For us. Yeah.
For us, correct.
Yeah.
In regards to the matrix as well, last meeting we had, we discussed the Nathaniel Mill Commission and their budget items that they wanted to put in place. They were asking for $95,000 for an ADA ramp, and there was another one here as well. So I'm just going through all my stuff. Against historical, fire department, conservation, so they were asking for $95,000 for the ADA ramp, and then an additional $45,000 for the roof for this year, totaling for $140,000.
And we voted to keep that on there?
No, we didn't. So, and this is why I'm bringing it back up again in terms of our priority matrix. They are trying to go around and just submit town meeting articles for them instead. So
for what?
For the ADA ramp and the $45,000 roof. Okay. Which in Mike's defense, he did tell us that last time that he was just going to put in meeting articles to go through and get the funding through free cash anyway.
Yes.
Is he going to get the money?
But I would rather go through a separate. Go on.
Yeah. So that's another point. It depends on how we act here. It depends on how we act here tonight when we can vote to not recommend the articles that are on the last page of the packet that we had today. So the articles on the last page, it goes through each of the items that are looking for free cash this year. So you got highway department with their 2 new requests, the fire department, and then 4 and 5 the Nathaniel Mill for the ADA ramp and the roof.
Well,
So
I would go number one for the fire protective clothing. They need protective clothing. I mean, to me, that's the number one priority on this list.
Yeah.
And as discussed offline, Nathaniel Mill does not make any money. It's not a
Correct.
historical building.
Correct.
It makes minimum money.
Yeah, but it doesn't make,
It doesn't make that money.
No.
If it was open 24/7,
does it
it
even
wouldn't
make
even come close.
$2,000 a year?
No,
Okay.
no, not even
And I
close.
didn't know about the roof previously.
Just one second.
Yep.
You're going to discuss stormwater at 7:15?
I think so.
What? If it changes, I might jump in.
What does
Okay.
a house
I'm going to jump over
For,
that.
so
Very good.
it depends. It really depends on what the that was the quote that he got. I think he said that's high.
That
So
seems very high.
So
to me.
it seems, because I mean, like, I got my roof quoted. It was $10,000. But this is also government municipal, so you might have to do
And
like
it needs to be
wages.
prevailing wage.
Why do
prevailing
you
wage.
say it's government municipal?
It's a town-owned building,
Okay.
so it will have prevailing wages on there, from what I understand, for
Okay.
that particular.
But that's
so
an awful lot of
Yeah,
money.
and
That
my
is an awful lot of
concern
money.
is what you're talking about, where it doesn't make anywhere near enough money even to pay for a third of or a quarter what they're asking for. The roof is not failing, it's not leaking, it's just met its age.
yeah,
And the ADA ramp, yes, it could be a problem, but it has not become a problem as of yet, where if somebody came to the mill and said, and went to the state and said I couldn't get in because there was no ADA ramp, then the ball will start rolling.
and I doubt the fixes for something like that would be a $95,000 ramp.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not sure who was talking prior, but like it was to come out to the sidewalk, which I don't get that either. How come it
It
has to
comes to the
come
ro-
so...
to the
The
road.
road, yes.
Yeah.
So far, I would think it would have to come to the parking lot, and you have
The
a
parking lot.
handicap parking space there. But, I mean,
I believe it has to come level with the parking lot.
yeah,
That's the only
The
that makes
design that they
sense.
the design that they had, I saw a rudimentary design of it from Charlie when he showed it to me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm not really concerned whether it comes out to the parking lot or the street.
Just the cost.
Just the cost of it in
Yeah.
general, right?
Yeah.
So, and we've discussed at these meetings before, and I've also discussed with the select board that if an item comes to us as a capital expenditure, and we say no, right, because it just is not a good use of the town's money, right? It's our duty to then, in my opinion, not recommend that item, and then when it comes up on the article and the warrant review from the select board, we go in there and say, no, this is not why we, wanted to.
So you're saying it should be noted in our article that we said no.
No,
No,
no.
okay.
This right here is the easiest way for me to track the recommendations.
Okay.
Right.
So when I go back to so when we recommend items on here, so let's just say theoretically we vote to recommend the first 3 items on here.
Yeah.
We will write that down as a 3-0 recommendation
Yeah.
if it passed that way. The other 2, let's say they were 0-3.
Yep.
I would strip those from this town meeting article, and then I would go to the select board and say, we voted to not recommend those items because of such and such costs and things
And will
like that.
the only concern, I just want to be clear, for my own thing, but if we say that to the select board, does that go anywhere in the paperwork of the warrant that we said no?
The select board has the authority to remove articles from the warrant that it doesn't see fit. So
But-
if the
okay.
Mike Means from the Nathaniel Mill put in 2 separate articles to
That
get
was
these
my
funded
concern.
outside of the capital matrix.
That's what, yeah. So if we decided to do the first 3 and we decided to cut these off,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's another separate 2 items or 1, I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2.
It's 2, yeah.
That's up to the town. I don't want it to be up to us and have the capital improvement committee said, oh yeah, that's good. But we don't.
We're not
But if the
saying that's good.
the town can then say, yeah, but we would like to.
Okay. I mean, yes.
We'll be standing up and saying it's not necessarily a good idea.
I find it hard to believe that the select board would say, we will spend $130,000 on a building that doesn't even make $2,000 a year. I mean, you
I don't think
can't.
the select board will, but if they put it on the warrant, it goes into the warrant. We
Oh,
don't
yeah,
take it
on
out.
the,
We don't
the
take their article
voters
out.
No, you
decide.
can.
But
You can take it out though. That's the thing. So I mean, yes, okay. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, right? It's the article, the town meeting article. The select board can go and do anything in that warrant that doesn't pertain to a citizen's petition, right? So they can strip out any warrant to put any warrant they want in that whole town meeting, right?
Right.
We've set the precedence last year during the special town meeting that when we have capital items that come to our committee, we want those capital items to be vetted through us and then sent to the town. So we can keep those items in here that he's asking for in our capital priority matrix, and we can say, okay, capital improvement doesn't recommend these items, and then at town meeting I could say, okay, I move to pass over number 4 and 5 of this, right? And then we can keep it that way. So, but the whole point is that there shouldn't be a precedence for capital improvement not recommending these capital items and then somebody just bypassing us and putting it into a town meeting.
I agree 100%.
Because it doesn't make sense to do it that way.
There shouldn't be a precedent for it, but I've always been under the assumption, maybe incorrectly, that if somebody has a warrant that is legal, an article that is legal to put on the warrant, that it should go through and be up to the town.
Right.
Oh,
to
it
vote
definitely
on
can be, yeah. No, I mean, it
But
definitely can be.
But I agree that
So,
the free the article, though, the 2 articles that they want to put on, that's from free cash.
that's from free cash.
do you know how much free cash is?
About $800,000 we have, which 350 of that is ours that we can spend in CIC. The school's requesting another $350,000, so that's $700,000, and those would essentially eat up our free cash.
But why is the highway number 2 listed in 2 places?
I'm sorry?
Oh,
It's 2 different trucks. So one is 140 and one is 75.
yeah, but they're listed on, same thing as,
This is the same
this
thing
is
in a
this is
different
the new
place.
matrix that he gave us when he reworked.
Oh,
the form.
okay. All
So you
right.
see that those 2 trucks. So before this truck right here, the 295 was
I
here
see.
with Unit
Right,
6.
no, I remember that,
Yeah.
but these
So we
2,
pushed that out 2
Are-
years. Okay.
The first 2 items on the matrix.
okay. So, the CIC money is actually free cash money.
Yes,
Okay.
which is how
350 is
yeah, and
ours.
that's not unexpected. Like the CIC
Okay.
money for most towns are free cash because free cash is supposed to
Okay.
be spent on capital.
Right.
And
Okay,
things
I
that
get
last over. So you don't have to take like debt exclusions out on it.
Right.
So we can go however we want. We can say, okay, we would keep the items on here for those, and we can just vote to not recommend it. And then the town meeting vote would be essentially to pass over those 2, number 4 and 5, on our capital matrix, or our priority matrix rather. Or we can vote to remove them from here and not say anything to the select board about having those warrant articles there. I personally think that sets a bad precedent.
It is a bad precedent.
And then at town meeting, we could stand up, but it kind of goes through the point that, we're a committee that's assigned by the select board. We have a certain budget that we set on capital expenditures every year, which this year is 1% of our budget of the not $350 million, $35 million budget that we have. So
This comes up before the 2 articles that Nathaniel,
no, yes, this does.
No.
I think this is like third
one
or
of the
fourth.
first ones, yeah.
It's third or fourth. But you wouldn't have them both on here both. So it's either we would have them on this matrix, or so we have them on
But I
this
guess
matrix.
it depends on I wish I knew if, because they presented, can we take somebody else's article off the warrant?
You can, yes. Well, not you right now,
Yeah.
but the select board can, yes. Yeah, you can. People strip
Can
warrants all the time.
Can we vote to
It's not a
do
citizen's
something
petition.
contingent based on what the select board says?
Ooh, that's a
Well,
good question. I think
We almost need to.
I would think that we would vote to
leave it on,
Leave-
but say we don't support it.
Well, so we can. So there'll be two motions, right? So this is what we'll probably end up doing. We'll have two motions. The first motion would be to recommend these articles that are listed here in the order that Corinne specified, which was the same
Yeah.
order that we did last time. The fire and then the highway.
Fire moves
And
up to the
that
top.
comes to
Yes.
$313,000. So you have 37,000 left. That's not going to cover,
Any of those.
The
Yeah,
mill.
I actually need to fix this to be 95, not 98. That was my fault. So I have to fix that article right.
The police is 95?
No,
the
the
fire
fire
is
is
95?
95, yeah.
okay, so it comes to
310.
310. So we have 40,000 left.
Yes.
I mean,
So here's the thing, though. Like
I mean, you could do it because you could afford it.
in my well, we have $40,000 left next to the school.
We
like,
and
outside
don't
of the
we
school.
have? Doesn't this have that 40,000 also is for October?
Yes, this is for the whole fiscal year.
So, if something comes up between now and October,
October.
we only have $40,000 to
Yes.
pay for it.
Yep.
I would do like you're saying, put fire first,
Yep.
and then
yeah.
vote to approve all of them, but say that we don't well, vote to list all of them, but that we don't approve 4 and 5.
Okay. So we have these 5 items on here.
The fire becomes number 1,
Yeah, and it pushes
then-
the highway 2 down.
2 and 3.
Yeah. And is there a priority on the highways?
There's not. No, there's not. I mean, realistically, this doesn't really need to be a. I mean, we can set it as a priority doing 1, 2, 3, and that's the way that we specify.
I mean, it just looks better to me having fire
The fire
Yeah,
above,
above
yeah.
highway.
Okay, so
But
I'll
a
move
Specific truck doesn't matter.
on this. Yeah, I don't think this. I think the sander would probably be the most important one out of that whole budget because it's the sander.
Yeah.
So we'll keep 2 and 3. The sander being 2 and the HG pickup truck being 3. So okay, so we'll have to. So I'll entertain a motion to keep the 5 items on the matrix, moving the fire department protective clothing to number 1, the highway unit 6 350 1-ton with sander to number 2, the unit C1 2500 HG pickup truck to number 3, the ADA ramp for the Nathaniel Mill at number 4, and the roof at number 5.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll vote to recommend those capital items or not recommend those capital items. So, okay, so capital item number 1, the fire department protective clothing. I'll entertain a motion to recommend that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's a 3-0 recommend. Awesome. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to recommend Highway Unit 6 F350 1-ton with sander for $140,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Highway Department Unit C1 2500 HG pickup truck for $75,000.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Awesome. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the ADA ramp for Nathaniel Mill for the amount of $95,000.
No.
Okay. So let me redo a new motion. I'll entertain a motion to not recommend the ADA ramp for the Nathaniel Mill for the amount of $95,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I messed up that first motion. It was supposed to be the other way, but that's fine. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to not recommend the roof for the Nathaniel Mill for the amount of $45,000.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So, great. So that's good. So now that we have our matrix set up for this year, our town meeting article matrix, I will make the changes to this. I will send it out to the committee tomorrow, and I will forward it to Lynn, who can put it on the actual warrant. tomorrow at the select board meeting, I will go through and ask the Board of Selectmen to remove the articles that were individually put in for Nathaniel Mill and have them go to our priority matrix here instead,
Okay.
if everybody sees that as being a viable option.
Yes,
Okay.
just one question.
Mm-hmm.
If the town decides to go pay for all 5 of these, they can. They have every ability.
They have every ability to. So
Okay.
what would happen is I would, once this comes up at town meeting, as the chair or Kurt is the vice chair, would stand up and say, I move to pass over number 4 and 5 of article, whatever article this
It
is,
happens to be it.
and say the capital improvement did not recommend this due to our free cash restraints and the I'm not going to say the usefulness of that building, but just because of our free cash restraints and something like that. At that point, there'll be a
People can get
motion to
up and-
pass over. It'll be a voice vote or not, and they can move to even to push through that and then vote for these items if they really want to.
Yep. Okay.
That's their prerogative at town meeting. So I actually like this way better. Thank you for bringing that up because, yeah, it's actually cleaner if it's on here too. So we still have it. It's just that
Yeah.
we're not recommending it. So, okay, so 95. So that's 310, right? And another 95. That'd be 405, and then so that'd be $450,000 we would spend if all these items were approved at the town meeting. Okay. So the other item that I wanted to talk about on the capital matrix was the school budget. So I met with Jeff Simonak and then George, the superintendent and the assistant superintendent today. Let me see if I get this. Sorry, I'm just looking for my Whitman Hanson Regional School District forms. So they are requesting $29,000 for. They're requesting $116,000 for the Indian Head Elementary School, excuse me, and then another $116,000 for the Hanson Middle School. One of them is for the TouchView interactive panels, and then the network switches in both of those schools. They're also requesting $135,820 for the network switches and the TouchView interactive panels at the regional high school. So the regional high school is a little bit of an odd case because obviously we can't fund half of that or we can not fund half of that if Whitman's going to fund it. It just throws off the whole the matrix, not only for the school but also for us as well. So I reached out to the capital chair, the capital committee chair in Whitman. His name's Don, nice guy, and we were touching base about what we think would be the best approach to do this because we are having the same issue that he is, or he's having the same issue that we're having when it comes to getting good information from the schools when it comes to what their capital items are and what their capital expenditures are. So I'm going to touch base with him again after our vote on how we want to handle these capital items. But I spoke with Jeff and George today, and I sat down with them, looked over their 5-year plan that they have at the school district for their capital items. They have a 5-year plan. I told them that I wish I knew that they had a 5-year plan before that particular moment. And I suggested that they clean up their 5-year plan and give us a copy of that so we can present it to the townspeople at the May town meeting.
Good idea.
Yeah, because one of the big things is what people see is they see the empty zeros here from the 5+ years of school committee or the school boards or the school district rather, and they don't really know what's going on, and it just kind of seems like they're withholding information when they have the information there. It's just really nobody's asked for it.
Yep.
Right.
So I asked them for it today. They said they would get it to me by the end of the week. My intention would be for us to print out that matrix that they have along with our matrix, and it'd be 2 separate matrices. We
Are
can
they
still
okay
keep.
with us doing that?
Yes.
Based on what they said they'd
yeah,
give us a
yeah.
copy of this?
I told them exactly what my plan was. I
Okay.
said you're going to
Yeah.
send this information to me. I'm going to have it printed out for the May town meeting. So you'll get your warrant articles, you'll get a copy of our capital matrix, and then you'll get a copy of their 5-year capital plan that they have over there at the regional school district, right? So everybody's kind of on the same page.
Yep.
What did you say that they wanted for Hanson Middle School? What was the dollar amount?
116,424. So it's the same thing as the Indian Head, and that's because I
divided them in half.
I divided them in half because they gave me one for both, one capital form
Yeah,
for both.
okay. I get
both
that.
schools. So
For my confusion here, we have the 310 whatever here. Where does this come in to this?
it comes out of the same free cash that we would use. So here's how it was done in the past. And I actually went through and kind of looked at this. So their capital items, they would always put in their own capital matrix just for the school district items. It would be completely separate from the operating budget town from ours.
Okay.
But it would still be coming from free cash. So it's still it still has to be
But
approved
it
by the
doesn't
capital.
affect our 340,000 or 300
Well,
whatever.
no, not really. But you know, at the end of the day, that 350 that they're requesting is still coming from the same place that our 350 is requesting, which is our free cash.
She came up with 500.
Wait a minute, no, I think I carried
Yeah, I'm
one
sorry.
that's
Here,
not there.
So if you just look the number right here, that should be the.
350, 188.
Yep. Unless I'm missing that one.
I didn't write out all the change.
Okay.
Actually, I think I am missing a little bit there. Hold on. Let me check. Let me check my number here.
I came out with 367.
Yeah, I think one of the formulas is messed up on the Excel sheet. So, plus.
And did you say you talked with Eric about this? Or he wasn't one of the
368.
people
I'm
you
sorry
talked
about
to?
that.
So 368.
368. I'll have to figure out where that's getting messed up. I think it might have been one of the lines that's not getting added.
So, but we only have 350 to give them.
We only have 350 for our operating budget.
For everything.
So this for everything on our side.
I thought you said the free cash was 800,000.
It is 800,000. So we
So
have.
this comes out of free cash, but
this
doesn't
comes-
come out of our 350.
No, it doesn't come out of our 350. Historically, how it does is the school system's capital is the school
Yeah, it's
system's
separate.
capital, but it still comes from our free cash.
Okay.
We can vote to recommend these items or not recommend these items.
I think our really true option only is to recommend them, but
Yeah, kinda.
kind of.
I mean, well, no, I can't say that. So, I mean, I also had a very frank discussion with Jeff and George about this today, and you know, I'm torn about this because, in my opinion, right. Yes, I have 3 kids in the school district, right, and they're all super young. They're going to be there for years. But I also have an obligation as sitting on this board to make sure that the financial health of the town is also
Yeah.
not greatly impacted, right?
Right.
And so,
And are they thinking that also? You know, when they're doing their budget, they should be thinking the same thing.
Nah, yeah, no,
don't.
they
That
don't.
isn't the way it works.
But you know, it's they.
What's best for the students, also what's best for the town. mean, it's
I hope they appreciate the position that I'm in when I go and tell them that I really want all these things to be funded, but fiscally, I
then
can't really
given
do
that,
it.
what
So
are our options? Is
Okay,
is yes
so-
and no our only options?
No.
All right, okay. First of all, you have the 800. So if you take the 350 off for the other things we decided,
450.
you left it with 450. So if you funded these and you took away 368, I should have done this ahead of time, you'd be $82,000 left. That, by giving them that extra 18, what are we taking away from?
By
Because
giving
we
the extra
should have
what?
had 100,000 left. But they really needed 18 more than we were willing, you had said we had 350 for the schools.
No, I'm saying the schools requested 350, but my 350, it for
It's
some reason it didn't.
368.
It's 360. So they requested 368. We
Okay.
don't have a budget for the schools, right? Like
Okay.
they didn't give us a free cash value for the schools.
Right, but we have 450 left over
Correct.
for free cash. Do we give that to the school, what the schools
Is there something else
requested?
asking for that?
Or is there something else that we should be looking at?
I mean, there's October asking for that too. I mean, because this is only half.
Well, that's the thing. So like October would be asking for that, but also this is even more important. This is why number 4 and 5 in our town meeting article, which is the Nathaniel Mill, can't pass because we really realistically don't have the money for it, right?
Right,
And if we can't
right.
pay that bill, then we can't pay that bill. We don't have to fund every one of these.
Can
So-
we say that we want to fund, like you saw the 5-year plan?
Yes.
Can we say, is it possible to do half the 116 and do half this year, half next? Or even if and then if things go well into October, maybe we can do it in October.
I mean, anything's possible. I just think that if we hold it off till next year, they're just going to have another set of items that they just throw on the plate. So, you know,
Well, I was at a school committee meeting once, been to a few, and one of the members on the school committee basically inferred that we should be able to give these kids everything.
yes,
We should be able to what?
Give these kids everything.
yeah.
And, I mean, I don't want to take away from children myself. I mean, I was an educator, so,
I say
but
we give them half.
I think we, like one of the other school committee members said, if the state gives us 3%, that's what we have to work with. But they want 6%. I'm just throwing out the 6 as an
yeah,
example.
no, I know,
Like
yeah.
if you get a raise in your paycheck and your raise is 3%, that's what, the additional 3% is what you have to take care of your own household.
Yeah.
You can't go back and say, I need more.
Is there a possibility of cutting all of those 3 numbers in half and saying we can't afford it right now? Can it be next year or possibly October if things are looking better in October?
You would have to hit it by school. So you'd have to say, okay, we're going to fund Indian Head, right? And then
I'm saying cut half of them, each of them in half. You can't do that?
you can't
No.
you can't
That's what
really
I'm saying.
you
Our
can't
answer,
replace
that's what I was asking
Yeah.
earlier. Our answer is yes or no.
you can't really do half of them because how are you going to get half the network switches for the Indian Head school? Right, so like one of these
can't-
in
you
here
have
is
to do the
network
whole
switches,
school.
right? You have to do the. Let's
So
say
in
you
other
vote on the
words,
whole
You
school.
don't, but that's
You-
okay. You know, it
if
depends.
you-
Like
but
that's
if
the
you-
thing.
if you did
know
half of
IT, you
this-
can replace 5 of 10 switches.
Yeah, you can, but
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Like if we're just take the high school out for a second. Let's just
Yeah.
go to the Indian Head and the Hanson Middle School. Those are 100% our costs, right?
Yes.
They have no
Yep.
cost sharing with Whitman
Right.
whatsoever. Those are
Right.
all
Right.
ours. We can fund those however we want. We don't have to fund any of it, or we can fund all of it and we can not fund the high school, right? So there's
But can we do half? You're saying yes. The answers
You
are
can't take one school and give them 50%.
You can't.
Everything has to be changed
So it
uniformly.
is yes or no.
Yeah, it
for
wouldn't.
each line item.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
really
the
wouldn't
other
make sense
thing
to
is-
do that, though, right? Well, it wouldn't really make. I mean, you
But they
can't-
could say, I don't know how many boards they wanted. It's not like they wanted X number, and you could say, okay, you're gonna get X. You're gonna get half of that.
They want to
today.
update the whole place all on the same page, basically.
That's what they want
Yeah.
to do. So I guess I guess
Well,
you
you
guys
could
gotta say
say-
what you were trying to do then.
You could say, okay, we'll do the middle school and not the elementary
do
school.
that.
You don't have any choice on the high school. Because if Whitman says yes, we have to contribute our portion.
So
But-
I talked to Jeff and George about that today, and they said so. And I said, okay, what happens with the high school if one town decided not to vote for that capital cost, and the other
This
one
isn't
did?
the first time this has happened.
And they said what essentially would happen is they would take the town that voted in the affirmative of that item, they would hold that money, and then they would submit the article again next year to the town that didn't affirm it. So, for example, if we didn't do the network switches this year at the high school, and Whitman did, they would
My
hold
problem
Whitman's
is-
appropriation, and then they would come back to us next year and ask us again for the network switches.
Okay.
In my mind, I'm kind of flying blind on all three of these articles, all three of these line items, because I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. You have. How bad are the network switches? Are they just a little slow? Are they a security risk? Are they, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's actually funny that you said that, because I did a little bit of market research today with my kids when they came home from school, because I got home and I'm like, hey, have you guys ever noticed your teacher restarting the touch view panels, whatever they have on the thing? Like, my teacher does it like once, every couple of weeks or something like that. My middle school was like, yeah, she used to do it, but until she got a new computer, now it doesn't do it anymore, right? So I was like trying to figure out like how dilapidated their touchscreen panels are. Their network switches, I would think, are a lot more serious, because their network switches, since they had that cyber incident last year, that would be something that I feel like would need to be replaced first.
Well, the thing is, they need to publicize that. What the heck? Why don't they?
That is out of the purview of our committee, and I agree with you. But that's
they've had a lot of
is
problems at the high school. One of my girlfriend's daughter, who's in the 9th grade there, said, they're always offline.
Yeah.
When they're supposed to be on.
Okay,
It
so
gets
that's good
difficult.
information to
That
have.
is, so just from hearing that, and she said it's very frustrating all day, off on. You have to bring your Chromebook somewhere to get it redone. So to me, it's like a given. You have to take care of the high school first.
But all they're asking for is network switches. Do we know how many and what brand? We know very little.
I don't know what brand, but I can tell you how many. So for
and are they replacing all the network?
They need
switches?
8 units in.
How many units?
8 units between
I think you said 88.
the middle school and Indian Head. So only 8 units between those two at 3,700 apiece. I'll round up 3,700 apiece.
It's a lot of money.
That's about the going price for network switches, though, unfortunately. So, and they need 43 of them for the high school. 43 of them, and so the total cost of the network switches in the high school, I'm rounding up here, is $160,000, of which 40% is our cut for that. So, if we wanted to recommend, like, the network switches this year.
Is it 40% us?
40%
Or is it
us.
60%?
40% us. $63,570.80.
So the money they're asking for is network switches and the boards?
The boards, yeah. With a combined total of 3.
See, the thing is, without having them, talking to them, I don't know what the priority is. Maybe their boards are in worse shape. You know what I mean? It's like...
I've been to that school multiple times.
Yeah, but it's not up to us to be making.
No, I know that. I completely understand that, and I didn't get a sense. I didn't really get a sense of their priority for either of these items. I think it was more of just they submit them, and then
they hope they don't push for it.
They have a whole list of items that they need for all of the schools that they have in the district, and what they do is they just put those items in there and try to hit them off every time like that.
Yeah,
so
Whitman Middle School has put in for them as well, and the thing is, within 2 years they're going to have a new school. They shouldn't spend the money on that.
Well,
so when I talked to,
but that type of stuff is movable.
Yeah, well, it is, but when I talked to Don, the chair of the capital improvement in Whitman, he's like, yeah, they put in for touch view panels for the middle school. Yeah, and he's like, why would we buy those right now? Why wouldn't we just buy them in 2 years when we have a brand new school and brand new equipment? Like, you're gonna hang it up, and then you're gonna, in a year, you're gonna take them down, store them somewhere, and then wait, 2 years until the middle school's built, and then move it back. Like, it's all, and by that time they're 4.5 years old, and you only got a year out of them, right? So,
You're saying they're not going to use them for that 4.5 years?
No, because they're building a new middle school. They're going to tear down the existing middle. I'm not sure.
But the kids are going to be in a classroom in that period of time.
I don't know if they'd have like the class trailers or something like that. Yeah.
Well, you can't take them out of school.
No, you can't. But what they do when they build a new school is they essentially
like in Marshfield, they had one school being built while they tore the other one down afterwards.
Do they have them in trailers and stuff?
No.
No?
They had one school sitting there, they were using it, and they were building a school over here.
That's what happened at Whitman Hanson.
How are they going to do that at the middle school? Well, the middle school's
maybe if it's in place, then you got to do the trailer.
I'm assuming the middle school is going on the same piece of property.
The same footprint. Where I'm talking Marshfield was a different footprint. It was on
Yeah,
the same
well,
property.
I
but
think
a
they're
different
tearing
footprint.
down the middle school and then rebuilding like the middle school on the place of the middle school. I mean, I'm just this is from me watching the
Yeah.
women's
Okay.
select board meetings, but you know, I know when my wife went to Silver Lake, when the first year that they were there from Pembroke, they had the kids in essentially like tractor trailers, but they were made to be like classrooms.
Classrooms,
And the
yeah.
same thing over at when I went to Davis
Yeah.
Elementary School in Brockton is when they were
Yeah.
redoing that. They put us in like essentially tractor trailers, and they were, you know, they were. They were nice. I mean, they had like heating and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it wasn't like a. But yeah, I don't know what their plan is for that. But I know that they probably won't need those
Won't be able to
interactive
use
panels.
those,
Yeah. So we can go either way on this. So we can choose. You know, we can. These are the options that I think we can do. We can vote to recommend or not recommend each of these items. We can vote to take some items out and recommend certain ones and leave other ones out. So, for example, how that would work, let's say Indian Head Elementary, we don't want to do the touch view panels this year, but we want to do the network switches. So we would vote to recommend the network switches and not recommend the touch view panels. Or we don't have to take a vote at all, and we can let the school decide.
The school decide.
We can let the school decide what they, like, we can put them on our matrix. They can submit their own town meeting article, and the people will have a voice on it.
I like if we put them on our matrix.
No, they put them on their own
They
matrix.
put them on their matrix.
Their capital matrix.
And do they have a town meeting article for it?
Yes, they do every year.
Oh, okay. So that yeah, it's
Okay, so at the town meeting, if everyone votes for them to have what they asked for, where is all the money coming from?
Free cash.
my thought, and we'll never get to this.
So
come
this
from free
number
cash.
82,
It's all that's left.
yeah,
be all that's
it's
left,
going to
yes.
shrink.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So
Yep.
maybe
What do you mean
that's
it's going to shrink?
from
Well,
the 450.
Yeah, it'll be
You take
82.
This is-
It will end May with 82.
Yeah.
It won't shrink
Say
from 82.
around 80 to
Yes.
82.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't do all the cents out there.
Yeah. I
so-
mean, I know you're rounding.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I mean, I'm not out here.
So, yeah, well, maybe that's the way to go then.
Okay.
But
Do you
that's
got-
the thing is
I mean, is that what you feel is best?
yeah. What do you think? What do you think? As you've met with these people, my thing is, if somebody asked me, I'd say we need to meet with them as we meet with the highway and fire and everybody
Yeah,
else. We need to meet with them.
I'll be very frank with you guys, no pun intended. Number one, everybody knows my situation that I'm in, right? So, like with the kids and everything being in the school, I know for a fact that if anybody in this room or anybody in that room stands up to talk against any of these articles in Mount Town Meeting, they're going to be hung by the rafters.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
So, and Jeff and George know that position, and they like that position because as a department head, right? If I go and try to take the snow removal budget away from highway for some reason, right? It's one of those positions. It's unwinnable, right? It's an unwinnable position. The best we can do is say and try to make the case to the townspeople in the most gentle manner humanly possible, and say, we just think that we don't need to do that this year. It could wait until next year.
We'll
and go
say
from
it during their article, or we'll put
We'll
it
say
on
it.
our...
So we can vote either way. I can talk to George and Jeff and say, you don't need to submit an article. We're going to put this in our capital matrix for the town, and we'll submit it that way. And at that point, we can recommend or not recommend those items on our matrix, or we can vote to recommend or not recommend their article items that they have in their own article. So they submit their own article for all these items, and we can go through and say, okay, touch view panel, we don't recommend that. Right?
How would that come out at town meeting?
It would come out the same way that FinCom recommends.
Oh, it would be a capital improvement committee recommends or not recommend.
Either that or the Board of Selectmen would take that recommend and put it into their own, kind of. select
I
board
think
recommend.
we should push maybe at tomorrow's meeting that there is that we do the latter where we let them put it in, and it says select board says 5-0, FinCom says 5-0, CIC says, you know what I mean? Have our vote matter.
But now, well, I'll wait till the meeting's over.
So what we would. Okay, let me just ask this because I honestly don't know what to do. So,
I think when it comes to the children, You,
I think we need to let the town decide.
yeah,
Do we want to make a motion? So I'll ask it this way: Does anybody want to make a motion to either recommend or not recommend any of these items?
It's a tough one to add them to our matrix.
No, just to recommend them. Let's just say right now, not even to add them to a matrix, just recommend them. So tomorrow during the select board meeting, when they hit these items, I can say this capital improvement recommended all 6 of these items, only 3 of these items.
I don't want to not recommend any of them, but I am not going to recommend all of them. I don't think we need all that to this time. But I'm not going to say because of that I'm going to not recommend any in particular. I don't know any better because I don't know one item from the next. There's 3 different schools listed, and there's different equipment for each school, and I have no way to prioritize it.
Yeah.
We were given no way to prioritize
I
it.
believe
Yes.
when it comes to the schools, that in the past is the schools, what they
Get
want.
everything.
They get, it's a very, very fine line, and I
agree
don't
with that,
want to
but it
be on
should
the...
be I don't know how we can.
Well,
get
he
around
has
that.
told us, Frank met with them and got all the information.
Yeah, but the thing is, what's going to stop them from next year asking for 100,000 more? You know what I mean? If it's just they ask and they get.
So, I mean that. Okay.
We need to discuss with them.
I would like to think that we're the most important people in the room, but when both of the towns give them a 2% budget cap and they come back with a 6% budget cap, they don't care about what we have to say. So,
No, they don't.
so it's gonna
No,
come.
they don't.
So you know, it's one of those things where we can vote to recommend, not recommend, abstain from recommending, but I doubt if I go to the Whitman Hanson Regional School District and say, you guys need to take $20,000 off your capital matrix.
I abstain from recommending or not recommending.
Okay,
I guess
so
in my-
it would have to be done in a motion. So,
Yeah.
well, you have to make a motion to recommend or not recommend.
Yeah.
And then you would have to abstain from that motion.
From
So,
the motion. So the
Yes.
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
Is anybody else, I don't know how we want to put this, but do you want to recommend or not recommend a specific one, or do you want to do them all together as a?
Can we take a recess and you stop the recording?
I hold on one second. So,
Okay,
Just
let me think. But someone can't recommend these 3 items to be on the list and then abstain to vote.
I'm sorry, repeat that for me.
Okay.
So can you repeat that for me real fast?
Okay,
I'm sorry.
if someone makes a motion to recommend these 3 items, the schools, as part of the matrix, that person cannot then turn around and abstain from voting if they've recommended to add them, can they?
That's a good question.
And
I know you
Then
can
how
vote
can you
against
second
it.
it?
if we
You can
don't...
vote against it if
we
you-
don't recommend them, okay, it will be known that we haven't recommended them, and you're gonna have every parent out ready to hang us.
I abstain because I don't know. It's. I don't know the priority and the need for each line item. So
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
And coming from Jeff and George, the priority is the same for all of them, I would imagine.
I would say that's probably the same for all of them. That's why they put it on there. That's just,
Yeah.
I mean, $368,000 in the grand scheme of their budget, which is big, is not a lot of money.
So there can't be a motion. You can't go against your own motion you can't.
No, you can go. There's been situations where you'd make a motion.
There is a
and then-
motion on the
and-
table.
Like no, like
Seconded.
so I would make a motion, and I don't want that motion to fail, but I want somebody to make a I want the vote to continue, right? So you make a motion to, you know, I'm not going to say it, but like you make a motion to, you know, not recommend doing this, right, or recommend doing this, but then, you know, you don't want it to be recommended. Like, you could do that. There's no, just because you make a motion doesn't mean you have to vote one way or another.
Okay.
I just don't know if you making a motion means that you can't abstain from it. I don't know. I don't handle a lot of abstentions in my
No, I
committees,
haven't
so
either.
I don't know if that's possible. I mean,
Is this something we can do and then ask legal counsel if we did it right? And if not, meet again to do it right?
okay. We could do that. We could do anything. So if we wanted to do that, so
Now you would have to go to Lisa for her to talk to legal counsel.
let me, Robert's Rules of Order. Can you make a motion? I'm going to make a motion and abstain.
How about text?
Okay, so
How about texting Joe?
You looking up the rules?
yeah, I'm looking up the rules. All right, remember, opinion expressed on the side of his vote, he can abstain since he cannot be compelled to vote. Okay, so no, you can do that. Yes, so you can make a motion, and then you can vote to abstain from that motion if you wanted to. So I guess the only other question is, what would we want to do? Would we want to do them all at once, or would we want to do them each individually, line by line?
I would suggest, unless somebody else has a different idea, to do them all at once.
Okay. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to recommend the capital items from the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District. The touch view panel interactive panels for $97,944. The network switches for $18,848 for a total of $116,424. That's for Indian Head Elementary. For Hanson Middle School, it'd be touch view panels for $97,944. Network switches for $18,480 for a total of $1,116,424. And then for Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, $63,580 for network switches, then $72,274 for the interactive panels for $135,820.
So moved.
Second. Like, I'm trying to think about how I'm gonna.
Okay, so yes, that's exactly
Yeah,
what it is.
see?
Okay, so all in favor, and I'm gonna put yes. All against. Anybody abstaining?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
I'll abstain as well.
Okay. That,
Next item?
yes, next item. So, okay. So, the next item that we have on our agenda is update and vote to the matrix. So, this is the exciting one. Last meeting, we did not actually vote for the matrix as amended. So we just need a vote on the updates to the matrix as you
amended them
as
based
we
on the
amended.
meeting.
Correct. Yes. But I'm missing.
So
What am I missing? I'm missing one of my parts of the matrix.
I'll entertain a motion.
We have to go through the
We have to go
amendments
through
first.
each
Yep, we have to go
one.
through the amendments first.
I
Yep.
want to know what I'm
Okay. So
going to.
okay. So we have, and I'll just go through each of them.
Okay.
Okay? So, I'll entertain a motion to amend the matrix as followed. Move Freightliner dump 6 sander for $295,000 to fiscal year 26.
Okay.
Move the library carpet replacement to fiscal year 25.
Okay.
We had, and there was 2 of them that I marked on here. Move the water capital projects and remove the IT systems that was slated for fiscal year 24. Move the Crystal Springs green filter plant to fiscal year 29. And then that is it.
And did all the departments agree with this?
I don't think we got a capital request for the carpet this year. And did any of the flooding go into the library from the senior center?
No.
No, okay.
Senior center over there, I looked at it today.
Is it not good?
Well, they had to cover the floor because the floor was brand new.
Okay.
They have a big dumpster out there.
So I didn't get any requests for
Wasn't that done last year?
the carpet. Was not. No, we didn't do. We did. I don't think we did the senior center carpet.
Has
last
it been
year.
replaced?
No, the library.
The library.
I thought the carpet had already been submitted.
I don't think it was approved though. And we also didn't get. We didn't get like this is the Hanson Library form that we got this year. We didn't get anything for the carpet, so I just wanted to move it to the next year on the matrix.
Okay, well, I guess we have no choice.
So I mean,
don't know why
so
that
it's either that or we take it off. So that's why I
Move it.
wanted to move it to the
Move
next
it,
year
yeah.
instead of taking it off. Okay. So we have a motion on the floor.
So moved?
So moved by Mr. Heel. Got a second?
Yes, second.
Second by Karina. Thank you. And then all those in favor? Great. Update both the matrix. And that, I think that's all we have left, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I will, I'll update the matrix. I'll update the meeting article. I'll send them out to or the town meeting warrant article. I'll send them out to everybody tomorrow. I would like you guys to express your opinions with me about me possibly going to a Whitman capital improvement meeting as kind of like the liaison of Hanson. And if anybody has any doesn't want me to do that or something like that, just because I think the people that I've spoken to today, they were very surprised that I even reached out to them. I don't think there's been a lot of cooperation in the past between the two towns when it comes to the regional school district's budget and how it's funded. I think the assumption from both towns was everything or nothing. And I think that working with the Whitman Capital Improvement Committee would be beneficial in our future. So, you know, we
I
can
think
kind
it's a
of...
good idea.
I agree 100%.
Okay.
I think the openness is, any more openness we can get is better. The
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
That's kind of my stance on it. So, okay. And does anybody have any issues with me presenting our article to the the select board tomorrow?
No.
No? Okay. Great. I will send the matrix out and the updated town meeting warrant. And then, yeah, it should be good. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
7:03.
7:03.